are out here sweating in these YouTube streets. Y'all, Jane Doe has done it. Jane Doe has done the damn thing with Diddy, and she did what Cassie couldn't do. First of all, Diddy is out of his mind, and I'm not talking about the weird stuff he's into. Diddy is out of his mind, but Jane Doe has broken off. And what could be a landmark? She outlined how she did not have any control over her autonomy, any control over her body. The way Diddy used her, all I do want to know is with Jane Doe, we're going to call her Jeannie. All we do know with Jane Doe is the fact that Diddy was getting a bargain. Can somebody explain to me how the Smex workers were getting paid better than the girlfriends? And I use that term lightly. The Smex workers were getting paid better than the girlfriends. She was doing all this stuff for $10K a month. Now, don't get me wrong, $10K a month is a lot, but not for what Diddy wanted. Y'all, let's get into this because Jane Doe did what Cassie couldn't do. Cassie talked about things that happened years ago, okay? There's a lot of problems with evidence. You don't have the evidence, you don't have this, you don't have that. But what did Jane Doe do? She tied it to the present, and she tied it to its current operation. She admitted and showed us verifiable proof. And might I add, the prosecution is getting a spreadsheet. They have the phone records. They have the flight records. They have the credit card receipts. They have everything, right? They have everything. She admitted to being Diddy's mule. Diddy's mule, that is a predicate offense for RICO. Not only is Jane Doe, right? Not only is Jane Doe a victim, but she was also Diddy's mule, and he made her perform in his RICO act. She also named the co-conspirators. She named the co-conspirators that are going to either have to flip or testify on Diddy's behalf, okay? Esteban Conoda said, Yana. Now, I do want to say this, right? And this is just a woman. I know that Diddy's team want to be like, that's just what they did in their personal lives. That's just what they did. As a woman, you cannot convince me that there was a woman on earth that consistently, over almost 3 years, let you use and abuse her body like that, right? Hold on a second. That can let you use or abuse your body like that. Listen, the potent ponderance that the prosecution is sick of the prostituting. They are. I do not believe. Jeannie said that she had to beg that ninja to let her use a condom. And these are all people that she thought were dirty. Right? One person she described, it sounded like he just grabbed a homeless person off the street and said, here, put this in your mouth. And she was like, can I use it, whatever? And each time Diddy said no. Do men and women somehow think that because somebody is paying your rent, you are going to allow them consistently to have complete control of your body? On top of that, with Jane Doe, I do find her really, really believable that she said, listen, at first, how you doing? At first, I was down with the rah-rah. At first, I was down with this. At first, I was down with that. But Jeannie actually came through, and she said, but then after that, she's like, I can't do this. She said she was always crying. She was always sick. But when they paint a picture, it's actually really sad. It's like you thought you were in a relationship, Jane Doe. Victim number 2 thought she had a boyfriend. Victim number 2 thought she had somebody that loved her. Victim number 2 didn't realize that you were a Smex worker, but you got paid the lowest. She said that at one point, she was meeting like so often. Also, I want to know what's going on with the La Armitage Hotel in Beverly Hills, because that's where they were having a lot of their hotel nights. That's Diddy, when he turned into Brother Love, he rebranded freak-offs and put it in hotel nights. But they said they were having all that stuff at the La Armitage in Beverly Hills. That lets me know that I know people in the La Armitage got some stories to sell. I will say they are discreet because they still haven't opened their mouth. Dorothy Martin said, what's done in the dark always comes to light. Exactly, but here's another thing. Diddy's team is ridiculous. They are trying to pin this as it's just personal life. When you hear her stories, there is not a woman on earth that will consistently let her body be abused like that. She said that sometimes he would make her have marathons. Doesn't it mimic what Cassie says? Where the victim the victim said that it was a marathon where it would be one person, two person, three person. She said after the second guy, she literally had to physically go to the bathroom and throw up. And instead of letting her rest, Diddy would be like, yo, it's good you got it all out. Now, come on, get back in there. She was not allowed to stop. She was not allowed to eat. She had no control. And she felt she had to do this, one, because she felt like she loved this man. And two, she honestly felt like she had no other choice, because Diddy did the same thing he's always done to every woman he's with. Latrice Strong, thank you so much for the super chat. Diddy, let me tell you something. Diddy does the same thing he always does with every woman. This is my opinion. He jumps into their life. He wines and dines them, right? Hey, Lisa M, how you doing? He jumps in. He wines and dines them. He got them twerking on yachts. He got them having a party. It's all this. She said in the beginning she fell in love with them because it was like passion is love making. And I was like, not from what I heard, Tootsie Roll, but maybe he gave really, really good hugs, right? Liz King said, I'm disgusted by it all. In other news, thanks for keeping us updated. Thank you so much. And Willette Smith said, I be here ready for when you come on. Sean used her slow, yes, and was like the money he gave her before he was getting it back. Exactly. But isn't that what he did with Cassie too? Hear me out on this, right? Diddy is that type, it's that Detroit pimp shit, right? That's the only way I can describe it. He came in on his stuff, right? The lover boy. He literally bought everything, this and that, throwing money up. He's getting you used to the lifestyle. Say what you want. Who doesn't want to be comfortable? He's getting you to this. He comes in, the man of my dreams. He's kind, he's loving, he's respectful. He only wants it to be me and him. He's in my face. And that man's a billionaire? Baby, sign me up. It really feels like you did the Sierra prayer. But then Diddy's real intentions actually comes in. He only does it till he gets comfortable enough to be like, yo, you ever think about bringing somebody else in? And the minute, I will say one thing, the difference between Cassie is, I guess he was still setting up his little freak off stuff, right? The minute she said, yeah, I'm down for it. He literally had her in a hotel not even 2 hours later. He had that mofo in the back, just waiting in his little stripper gear, just waiting to actually come out and do the show. And she said she felt like she opened a Pandora's box, because once she said yes, they never had smacks outside of it. Now, one thing we actually do need to talk about, right? Golda A. Well, I can't talk about that right now. We'll talk about that afterwards. Like, Golda A, thank you so much for the super chat. And you, Info, said this is pivotal for black culture. Diddy is behind a brand of party and bull, a segment of society to mimics his in behavior. Let me tell y'all something, right? First of all, I agree with you. Before we get into the details, I agree with you, used Info, because I think it's the end of an era. You are not allowed to do this anymore. And the funny thing is, you think about the way, like, especially in the entertainment industry, they've always been on that bullshit. Remember that one song, She's Just 16 Years Old, right? The entertainment industry has always been on that BS. Before, there was always some rocker that had a little 14, 15-year-old girlfriend. Like, it's always been on BS. And I was talking to my girl, Tiffany. We actually might even do a podcast where she was actually saying that, baby, the whole record industry was always on some RICO organized crime. And now that they are taking it down, they are letting you know you can't do that anymore. The time is up. If you think it's cute to still be putting stuff in people's bottles, getting them loose without their consent, doing all this stuff, but even to the point of with the, let me just say this, right? With Jeannie, I find it really, really scary how much Diddy was able to get into all the victims' minds, where they really was down for this person. I feel like he found people that had childhood trauma, that wanted to be seen, wanted to be loved, wanted to be accepted, and literally did, in my opinion, narcissistic abuse and broke them down to the white meat. And then had them doing so many things that made them say, that made them feel so disgusted with themselves that they almost stayed near him just because they felt like used goods. And what man is ever going to want them? And how are they worthy about someone that treats them right? That's what they expected. The same way that all these podcasters are like, oh, this and that. That's what they wanted. Uguma said, I read the transcript today. Evidence of RICO, trafficking, drug supply. Something is seriously wrong with the Tootsie. Thank you. Keep doing your thing. There is something really wrong with them. Also, Kelly said, Tisa, who's them co-conspirators though? Names, we love you. Okay, let's get into the co-conspirators, okay? Also, Kareem said, oh, Diddy, can't you see federal prison is where you will be? Diddy, can't you see? Blessed Child said, coward the power. Yes, exactly, coward the power. Real kings don't move like that. Send Diddy back to his cell rest. And that's the one thing I do want to say. They want to turn this into a black man, a male problem. Baby, I got brothers, I got family. Nobody's doing this stuff except the derelicts. Connie Dumlack, thank you so much for your super chat. Also, Helping Karma said, I heard that Jay-Z is being investigated. Is that true? What would he be being investigated for? Honeybee Therapy, thank you so much for the super chat. Okay, so listen, let me get into this corner real quick. Well, this lighting's great, but the wind is like kicking my butt, but the lighting's good. Okay, let's just do this, okay? Let's get into the, but first of all, also, Diddy, I don't even know where to start with this man. He is into so much crap. And it's not about that nasty freak stuff. It's just the fact that his supporters are still out there saying Diddy's not really gay. First of all, ain't nothing wrong with being gay. Second of all, Diddy, you 100% are. So you need to like stop. I see why Alex Fine was like, because he a member and I'm glad you sticking up for your people. Anyway, right? Let's get into this. They said that, oh, you know, she said that one time Diddy bought this guy in to sleep with her. I think he was housing insecure. Bought this guy to sleep with her that was really stinky, really sweaty, and just smelling all the time. And Diddy was trying to get her to give this man sloppy toppy. And she did not want it. And she was like, can I please just put on like a condom or something? And he was like, no. And then she did not want to do it. She just couldn't do it. She said that she tried to seduce him. She tried to do this and that. And she was like, at the end of it, she was like, I can't do this, right? And when she did that, Diddy was like, all right, fine. And he laid her down on the bed and he was doing the do, but telling the girl to keep looking at the guy. And she said all she remembered was that guy's stinky sweat dripping all over her face because he was standing over her sweating. What in the, first of all, what in the trauma? And I don't even want to go to Diddy's therapy sessions to figure out what was going on, but you cannot tell me that was not childhood trauma central. Maybe adult trauma. I don't know. I actually don't even want to go to that therapy session with him. I don't want to find out why he did anything, but it is just super weird. Just super weird, all right? Also, let's get into the co-conspirators because, you know, I took a bunch of notes and then I got to run up to trial because lunch is starting. But you know that those people are going to be, the prosecution and defense are going to be, the prosecution and defense are going to be arguing the whole time. Can you imagine that? Maine said, Bussy Daddy sweating like it's S-workers today. Listen, Beaky said stages of MPD, idolization, devaluation, discarding, then hovering. He is a demon. Kimberly Steinberg, thank you so much for the super chat. And Brandon D said, love bombed only to have a train ran on them with the Tootsie Roll, rocking around being a voyeur like a weirdo. They even played a video where she was like, please, can you... Hold on. They even played a video where they were like, please, she was like, please, you promise we could use a condom. And he was like, girl, what did he say? You promised you could use it. And he was like, no, you already took it. You already took this D. Like he liked to see it without or whatever. Anyway, so where are, okay? She's already implicated KK as the co-conspirator. KK gave victim 2, right? KK gave victim 2, 1 second. Bless Child, thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, B. Lynn said, you rock, keep going. And Marissa JR said, I saw another YouTuber saying that Jane Doe is the last witness for the prosecution. Is that true? Love your work, and I'm so proud of your talent is being recognized on a larger scale. So they did say that Jane Doe, she's the last victim. She's the last victim, not the last witness. She's the last victim, but she's not the last witness. Even though the prosecution says they've proven their point and they're ready to wrap it up, right? M said, I appreciate your compassion for the witnesses. Also, Lakeisha Anderson said, love you, Tisa, so much. I'm super proud of you. Thank you so much. Also, Ann's Backyard Garden, thank you so much for the super chat. Mashed Potatoes said, how's Diddy's behavior since he's on notice? I'll tell you about that. Edgar verdict, thank you so much for the super chat. All right, so Mashed Potatoes, listen to this. Kate said, oh, thank you. Audi Miami Dade case sent a okay, let me get into the the thing, and then we can talk about it. It said Audi Miami Dade case F18 whatever sent a request for transcripts. Thank you. Next court date is August the 13th. I might actually go. I'll be around. So listen, right? What did victim 2 do? KK sent her as a mule. Diddy told her to bring his pharmacy over the first time. She said that she was really, really scared, right? She said she carried rugs in 2022. She said, if I pick up the package, they said, pick up the package and then fly, not on private jet, on commercial. He had her literally on commercial. Then they said, go to the Beverly Hills house, right? They told victim, go to the Beverly Hills house and pick up the package. KK always knew because she had to get the package from KK, right? She said she asked KK, is this safe, right? And KK said, of course it is. I do it all the time. I said, yeah, KK going in, right? Then Jeannie said she felt super, super weird, right? She said when she flew, she gave it to Sean in the bathroom and he pulled out all these pills and then gave her one because they had to get ready for another freak off, or as he now rebranded them, Hotels Nice. She said, Jenny said the second time she was a mule, it was a second package straight from LA to Miami. KK told her it was safe and brought it to her. Again, this is RICO, okay? Sean said, here's the thing, Sean set up most of their SMEX workers, okay? And then she started on a schedule, right? She had an idea one time that she wanted to choose the guy. However, Diddy wasn't really down with that, okay? She said all the men were strangers. She hated it. She wanted to choose at least who it could be so she could get some type of rapport, right? She said that she was always on ecstasy, right? Oh, get this. Listen, this is actually something very important. Do you know how the prosecution is saying these are grown women that wanted to do that? What are you talking about? The prosecution actually proved, in Jane's testimony, I believe, that even when people thought that these girls were contacting them all outside of Diddy, they were never contacting them outside of Diddy. Jane said, Jeannie, victim 2. Victim 2 said, and you guys, if everybody's wondering who victim number 2 is, she is not a publicly facing girlfriend of Diddy. If you guys saw her, you would not know who she is, okay? But she's not a publicly facing girlfriend, okay? So listen, no more guessing. No more guessing. So anyway, she said that she hated it, blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's the thing. Remember they said these women were contacting the sex workers outside, right? Victim 2 has proven that that's a lie. She said that whenever she would FaceTime the escorts, she would do it for Sean. She calls him Sean. She would do it for Sean. And Sean would mirror her FaceTime screen onto the TV and be in the other room diddling with his Tootsie Roll while so the workers thought that, like, she was like, what's up, baby? My man ain't around. Like, what was you doing? And they came to find out that 100% wasn't true. At all times, and much like Cassie, victim only contacted these workers if at Diddy's command, behest, or whatever. And when she wasn't commanded to do, she did not have anything to do with these people. Again, this goes to the heart of the prosecution saying, oh my God, you contacted me outside. You know you wanted it. No. Even when you thought you were alone, you were not alone. They were doing it for Diddy, and Diddy would either tape it or watch playbacks. I know Diddy was so happy when Apple started FaceTime. I know he was like, yes, when Apple started FaceTime. And that screen mirroring, he said, oh, it is on. Anyway, right? She said that she would FaceTime them with the mirror on and get them to, because that's what Diddy wanted to see. That's another thing. It's sad when you look at the way that LGBTQ has been rejected in America. Things are changing, but the fact that I truly believe that no, that's not true because he's a monster. But I feel like a lot of this depravity is because he feels like he couldn't be himself But then, no, that's not true, because there's a lot of people in the closet, which is really sad, that aren't running trains on their girlfriends or wannabe girlfriends and having freak offs. So never mind. Scratch that, right? She said that, so there was Cabral. Oh, so here's the people I think is going to testify. There's somebody called Cabral, right? There's someone called Don. There's someone called Paul, and there's somebody called somebody else. I think these 4 workers are going to testify. The fact that because she said that there was hundreds of men, she can't even count, but the fact that she keeps talking about these gentlemen, it really honestly makes me believe you guys are 100%, and I mean 100%, going to actually testify as to what you saw and did, because why out of hundreds are we talking about only 4, right? So it was Cabral, it was this. Let me get to the co-conspirators, because there was a whole list, right? Oh, Don, Paul. Oh, also, she said that they got a lot of them from Cowboys and Angels. You guys won't remember, but 2 years ago, I did a video saying we found Diddy's S-worker supplier. I went to Cowboys and Angels. I'm going to repost the video tonight. And it was a whole live, and we went through the catalog, and we actually found some of these people. So y'all already knew this 2 years ago, right? Also, with the SMEX trafficking, LA, Miami, and Turks overseas, okay? They booked their own, so most of the time Diddy's people will book the travel, right? Or they would already be there. Oh, and Leo. Leo was another one that they named. So it was Cabral, Leo, Paul, and Don, all right? There was another unknown one. So hold on, I really want to get the thing. Diddy, they also did say that Diddy was standing in the corner while she was begging him, can I use or whatever? And she said she looked over the guy's shoulder and he was like, you better, no. Because he thought that if she actually used a condom, that would completely sour the mood. Okay. Anyway, Hold on, I want to get these. I really want to give y'all the co-conspirators, because okay, here we go, right? So Diddy's butler, right? Brendan. Now, I do think that Brendan has gotten immunity, so I do think that she's going to be hey, how you doing, Mom? So Brendan said multiple times, while they were having their hotel parties, he would come to the door and hand her whatever, right? Right? Also, Frank, right? John, and others. There was a few more. Hold on. Frank, John, and others. There was also, I believe, KK. They said that there was, hold on, I took so many notes. 1 second, look, where are they? Jeannie, oh, this is another thing. All that she wanted from this, for everything she did, she would do all these free calls because she needed her rent paid. And also, you guys, we have to have a special Tattletales moment. If anybody is doing free calls and letting that man make you hum on some homeless, and then on your body, and then they want to make, and then please let me know. I'm not even joking. We will crowdsource you so you can get actual housing. The fact that it is 10K a month is a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but when you hear about what these girls had to go through, it is not a lot of money. I thought, that's another thing I do want to say too. You think Young Miami was lying to us? She said she was getting 250 to 300K a month. You better take 4 zeros off of that. She might have been given 2.5 to 3,000 a month, because Diddy is notoriously cheap, okay? Anyway, she says that, also they had a huge argument over KK's messages, okay? She said that she didn't consent. She was 100% coerced. I think as testimony goes on, we're going to 5. Oh yeah, by the way, you guys, we're going to 5 o'clock today. I really honestly do believe that, sorry guys, I really do honestly believe that for whatever reason, the whatever is based on coercion, okay? Hold on, I'm trying to get this out, but I have to go back to the courtroom. Listen. Oh, what was Diddy? Oh my God. What was Diddy like? What was Diddy like in court today? Diddy was 100% walking in. He would not look at the jury at all. But get this, the jurors, especially the ones that I've had a few concerns about, they were looking at the wall. They were looking at the wall. Hold on really quick. How are you? Sorry about that, guys. On live. Sorry, but you know what? Come really quick. Come say hi. Hold on, y'all. My phone's going crazy. Okay.
Hi.
Say hi, everybody.
Hi. She's the best.
Oh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Oh, thank you, Mom. I appreciate you. Okay, so listen. Okay, so let's get back into this, okay? So Diddy was looking straight, and the jurors that I had issues with, or I thought they were a problem, they were looking at the wall. I don't know what Judge Aaron said to them, but it didn't look like he put the fear of God into everybody. Everybody straightened up their posture, and everybody is actually acting off. Now, again, when it comes to sex trafficking, there must be a pattern, right? There must be a pattern of protection. He refused to let her use condoms. She begged him for it. The first night was with Don in that Miami hotel. Diddy was very dismissive, tried to guilt trip her, saying he didn't want to see, he didn't like the way the condoms look on members, right? Super dismissive, right? He said he didn't want to see rubber in his freak off. She had combo sober about that. She was begging him, can the escort please do this, right? Again, he was recording it on the iPhone. Dawn wouldn't say anything, right? Dawn wouldn't say anything. They were recording him. The escort was fine with it. However, Diddy really had a problem, okay? Oh, wait. Court's back in. Okay, listen, sorry guys. I will see y'all afterwards for the big thing. We're going to do a huge live recap today, right after court. Make sure y'all catch me. Let me go ahead and go into, oh wait, hold on. Should I do the whatever? Hold on. Brick Booty said that spells out Diddy did it. Red said Diddy is not cheap. He breaks crumbs off for folks and play them in order to string them along. Hold on, let me answer you guys' questions. I agree. Potent Ponderer said, you're so gracious and we love it. Very selfish. Oh, thank you. Rose J said, keep up the good work, T said, thank you. And VYBZ Star said, hi T, missed you today. Yes. Listen, it's a busy day today. More family, more fun. Said she did it for the money. No, you guys don't understand. Jane is not public facing, you guys. And also, I literally said no identifying, but I'm telling y'all, Jane is not public facing. Y'all don't know who she is. Raucous TV said, what the Tootsie Roll that Diddy do to your camera? Shut up. Also, my Michelle, thank you so much. Brittany Renee said, is KK testifying for the prosecution? I'm hearing conflicting answers. You know what? Honestly, I will honestly say, I don't know. I thought she was, but now that the way they're positioning her, she might not have taken that immunity deal. Eva Felipa Watson said, hey, Bestie Tisa, I know what it is to have some narcissist man in control of your life, but all depends on us to say enough. Yeah, but the funny thing is, I think that's what they're doing now in court. They're saying enough. Angie, thanks so much for the super chat. Get in there, Nick said, great job. Tuned in every day. Suli Buchanan, thank you so much. Edgar Verdi said, anyone defending Diddy is weird. I know that's right. I completely agree with that. Let me get to a few more questions. Miss Caroline said, I heard back in the day that getting trains ran on you and recorded was a thing within the hip hop culture in the 90s. I wonder if it stemmed from that. Oh, maybe. Ma'am, thank you so much. You said, keep telling it, Tisa. You guys, listen. Let me get back into that courtroom so I can bring you guys some new tea. Make sure you turn your notifications on so I can give y'all a recap at the end of the day. But yeah, it's going down.